And with that, this playthrough has come to a close. Because the game keeps crashing mid-mission. And now that my playthrough of this game is done, I'm sure you are all anticipating with bated breath to hear my overall impressions of this game. And I will tell you. So I did actually put together a tier list for all the Ninja Turtles games I've played so far. It's probably worth doing a full video with a longer explanation of why I've done the tier list the way that I have, and like talk about each individual game on the list, but that's for another time, and there's other Turtles games that I know exist that I haven't been able to get my hands on so far. Some of them I'm not sure I'll be able to. Splintered Fate I think is supposed to be coming to the PS4 at some point, so maybe I'll wait until then at least. But as far as feelings on each game so far, in this collection of Ninja Turtles games that I played over the course of 2024, this is where everything stands. And as far as where to put this game on the tier list, not gonna lie, it started off low. It moved up a bit more when I got my hands on the DLC, which is around the same time that I started getting more filters, or masks, or face-ups. I'm not actually sure what the official term was for those. But, as I said, the filters were the best part of the game for me. Still are. The DLC, though, the alternate skins of the comic book and the 1980s cartoon, made a big difference. And it probably is evident if you look back over the videos. I started enjoying this game more once I got my hands on the DLC, which was surprising. I don't know if it's the old adage of if you look good then you feel good. Maybe just the fact that I could look at the character that I was playing as and not be so tremendously disappointed with how I looked made me enjoy the experience more. Just that simple thing. And so, based on that, I would say, if you are going to play this game, it's probably worth it to fork out the extra bit of cash for, if not the season pass, then at least one or two of the alternate skins, just so that you can actually feel good about how you look. But is this game worth spending any money on at all in the first place? Well, in my opinion, no. I was, at the height of this experience, I was gonna position this game above Radical Rescue, I think. But the whole experience altogether, including the glitches of just falling through the stage and losing the filters that I worked to get, no, I would have to position this game here on the tier list, in the category of just an overall horrible experience. And that's not even factoring in the fact that I couldn't actually finish the game because of crashing. Honestly, that was kind of a blessing to me. I think I just needed a good enough excuse to have to stop. As I said at the end of episode 30, I was like at war with myself. My desire to finish what I started was at war with the fact that I just hated this. Was it as bad of an experience start to finish as Back from the Sewers, the original NES game, and Tournament Fighters on the Sega Genesis? It wasn't quite as bad as those, but it was not far off. Like, it didn't have specific super horrible moments of, like, the Mouser sections in Back from the Sewers, or the dam level in the NES game, or most of Tournament Fighters on the Genesis, but like specific opponents in particular. It didn't have any particular experiences that were as bad as any of those to ruin the whole thing. What this game did was just, it was not fun. It's boring. It's boring to look at, it's boring to sit through, it's boring to play through. The dialogue is bad and takes up way too much of the game. I feel like, and this is probably not an accurate estimate, this is just honestly how it feels. I feel like I spent a third of my time actually playing the game, 1/3 going through cutscenes, and 1/3 going through load screens. I forgot to mention this when I made my first list of everything in this game that was boring. The music is boring. And the music, I don't know if you remember, I was getting copyright claimed for the music in this game. And that doesn't happen these days with newer games. Or if the music is copyright claimed, they will at least have a feature in options for streamer mode. That's just a basic courtesy that games do now. If they are going to copyright claim their music, which they have the right to, they will at least have a streamer-friendly feature that disables any copyright claimed music. This game didn't have that, and this game mentions YouTubing as a thing. There is actually a scene with Volby where they talk about how this is a thing. People watching people play video games on YouTube. This game acknowledges that that's a thing, and yet it doesn't accommodate it. And of all the music to copyright claim, the music in this game is not even worth it. Like, let us have your boring-ass music. And I'm just as puzzled with this game as I am with the Lego games that kept crashing. I'm like, you're a Lego game. How is the system having this much trouble processing this? Because this game is ugly. Now I want to be clear about something. The design team did an excellent job. They probably did the best job out of anyone on this game. I don't mean that sarcastically, I mean that genuinely. Because when I saw the comic book skins, and when I saw the 1980s cartoon skins, they look awesome. They look great. They made the experience so much better than it was. Just having those to look at instead of everything else in this game. But here's the thing. The design team did a perfect job of emulating the source material that they were given. And the source material that they were given was the Mutants Mayhem movie, which is the grossest looking of all Ninja Turtle movies. Yes, even worse than the Michael Bay ones, because, at least in the Michael Bay ones, only the turtles were gross. The rest of the world was the normal world. But in Mutant Mayhem, the entire universe is gross. Not just the turtles, every mutant, every human, even just the environment. Even, like, look at how light works in this universe. That is not how light is supposed to look. That is gross and dumb. And the design team did a perfect job emulating that. If they had been given the task of doing any other version of Ninja Turtles, I'm sure this would have been a much better looking game and more pleasant of an experience. Not that it didn't have other issues. I don't even think I finished my earlier point. So yeah, it doesn't have a particular super horrible moment like the 3 lower games on this tier list. But what it does is it's just a bad experience overall. But what makes it as low as I put it on this tier list, because it almost was positioned better than Radical Rescue. Radical Rescue was cool, it just took a bit long to get through, and certain parts of it were unreasonably difficult. One of the worst things about this game is just how long it takes. I know, normally more content that's supposed to equate it being a better game, not if you're not enjoying yourself. For me, it just prolonged the suffering. As I said, this was supposed to cap off the year. It was not supposed to extend into the new year. I thought it would be done before January, as I was with all the other games. This game, for whatever reason, decided to be way longer of an experience just to get through the story. Now, I've tried to avoid seeing what people are saying online about it, because I didn't want my opinion to be affected. I wanted to be able to give it to you like more raw and based on my own personal experience. I wanted to give you guys that perspective. But there were certain things I just had to look up. And in the process I came across one comment online saying that this was supposed to be the Ninja Turtles equivalent of the Persona games. Now, I haven't personally played or watched anybody play a Persona game, but based on the little that I've heard about it, it probably is accurate to that system of being a game that, by design, takes longer to get through, and is based on days, and the idea of there being missions that are relationship-specific, and how you can work on different relationships over the course of the game. And you have a certain limited amount of time in order to do that. That's probably all there. But the missing piece is that people enjoy the Persona games. I did not enjoy this. So everything that just prolonged the experience just gave me a worse overall opinion of this game. It overstayed its welcome by a mile. And at least with as bad as the other games were, at least I could get through them quickly. At least there was a bit of a band-aid element of being able to get through it quickly. This, there was no just get through it quickly option. After episode 30, every time I turned this game on, I was dreading it. I am glad that it is finally over. It is a relief for me. I'm sorry to you guys, you don't get to see the ending apart from the ending that I just made up on the spot for you guys. I hope you like it. If I can find another YouTuber that finished off the rest of this game, then maybe I'll put in a link to their playthrough at the end of this video, just so you guys can see the quote-unquote official ending. But as far as this playthrough on this channel, that'll do it for me. Now, as far as what's coming up on this channel, I am actually not sure. By the time this airs, I'm not sure if my Shiranui will be out yet for Street Fighter 6, or if it will have been announced. I'm planning, because no other plans have come up so far, I'm planning to cover that DLC playing as Leonardo again. That became a tradition, that's just what I'm doing now, until I decide to do otherwise. But as far as actual Ninja Turtles games, that's all I have right now. As I mentioned, Splintered Fate is supposed to be coming to the PS4 at some point, but I don't think a release date's been announced. So I don't know when I can cover that, and even once it's available, I don't know when I will be covering it. Because 2024 was my year for Ninja Turtles games. So there's not as much self-applied pressure now to cover every Turtle game I can as soon as I can. And I'm probably going to be checking out new games just at my leisure. I'm very much aware that I need to take a break from long-running series and focus on some... It's like putting out some shorts or CPU fights like Street Fighter or Soul Calibur. Focus on those. I may start checking out one-offs of certain retro games as I have access to them, because some retro games have done well on this channel before, and if that's something that people want to see more of, I'll see what I can find. Like the retro Turtles games that I covered in 2024. some of them did very well, and then not so much others. So it's just a matter of finding, I guess, the right nostalgia soft spot, in which case retro games will be hit and miss. But I'll see what I can find, and I'll see what kind of reaction they'll get. And theoretically, technically, I'm still doing Sims. It's just been a very long time since I have been. But with not as much else to cover right now, I may be able to get back into that more regularly. Which I keep saying, and it keeps not working out, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, for right now, the rest of the year is kind of open. Not sure exactly what I'm doing. There's a lot of possibilities. I don't want to commit to promising a particular thing just yet. If there is a particular thing you guys would like to see more of, or would like to see me try out on this channel, let me know. I take everything into consideration. No, I don't always immediately say no. Sometimes I'll wait a little bit before saying no. Sometimes I say yes. It's odd, but it happens. So, thank you again so much for watching. Hope you're all staying safe. I'll see you later.